A legitimate protest against the bloodshed in the Middle East. One of many demonstrations in Britain this weekend. But the country's most senior counter-terrorism police officer has warned that the conflict in Gaza has become a radicalisation moment, driving an unprecedented terror threat to the UK.
We've seen 3,000 reports from the public. About 700 of those look to be UK-linked and potentially breaches of terrorism legislation. That represents about a 7-fold increase on the same period the previous year.
Assistant Commissioner Jukes said Islamist extremists had now become energised by this conflict, and events around the world would invariably pull a thread in the UK. This is an extremely serious intervention from Britain's most senior counter-terrorism officer. It would almost certainly have needed government approval after listening to concerns from the country's intelligence community. It shows just how seriously they're concerned about this terror threat. Since the attacks on October the 7th, there has been a 25% increase in intelligence being provided to police about terrorism and violent extremism. There have been 33 arrests, with 20% of those arrested under the age of 18. And children as young as 11 have been involved in what are described as very troubling conversations online.
It's always been the case that those who have used the Middle East to inspire themselves and then carry out attacks have been younger people, have been students, university students. Now, increasingly, we're seeing people who are school students. And what that means is it's not only a threat for today, it will also be a threat for tomorrow.
But some community leaders say there is growing unease with the British government's position, and that could fuel tension.
If there is the threat to this country, which I hope it is not the case, then we can understand why young people and others feel that there's a different law for different people, and that the government is not listening to all the people who've been asking for ceasefire and for peace.
The protests against Israel are not confined to Britain's streets.
You should be ashamed. We are 100 days.
Labour's Shadow Foreign Secretary David Lammy was interrupted a number of times as he tried to deliver a speech at an event in central London.
These are worrying times, as the head of counter-terrorism has said. I think we have to be clear on our values and our principles. And they are that we do want to see a two-state solution in the Middle East.
Protests against politicians and marches on the streets will continue as long as Israeli bombs fall on Gaza. But the fear is what might happen when that will not be enough for some people. Ashish Joshi, Sky News.